Sonic Forces has officially been out for over a year, and I have had very different and varying opinions over the games through its life cycle. I've liked it, I've loved it, I've hated it, and there's things about it that's just downright have pissed me off. But now that it's been out for over a year, I wanted to do a comprehensive review and look back of what I think about the game now, how it's aged, what I think its future will be, and what I think Sega should do for the future of the franchise. My name is Kai, and this is episode 3 of Awesomazing, and welcome to my comprehensive analysis and critique of Sonic Forces. The story of Sonic Forces is all over the place. Let's start with the good first. I think the base plot of this game is okay. Sonic is defeated by Eggman's new weapon of the week, Infinite, and has taken over the world. The rest of Sonic's friends have made a resistance to fight the dastardly Doctor, and they need recruits for the army. With your help, your goal is to free Sonic, figure out the mystery of Infinite, and put an end to his master plan. This base structure is okay, it's been done so many times in Sonic stories, just stopping Eggman. But that's where the good parts of the story end and where we get into the real messiness of it. To be blunt, the current writers of the Sonic games don't know how to do stories with any real stakes. Sonic Colors and Generation stories worked great because the battles were more personal and the plots weren't overly complicated with a bunch of arcs that had no real payoff. Both Lost World and Forces have tried to bite off more than they can chew story-wise, and it shows. Both games try to have super dark antagonists talking about death, chaos, anarchy, and it never really works because the tone shifts on a dime. Not to mention the fact that the writers really don't understand the characters they're working with after this long. Like, Tails has been shafted in both of these last games. He came off as an ignorant jackass in Lost World, and is an absolute helpless coward in this one. Tails is Sonic's best friend. He's supposed to have his back, not just stand there and watch him get pummeled, and then not do anything when real danger shows up. Like, what is this? What is Tails doing here? The Tails of past games would spring into action and be ready to beat Chaos into the puddle he is, not spread his cheeks and say, "Alright Chaos, I'm ready for the fisting of my life." They've done Tails so dirty. Pretty much the only characters they really nail right in this game are Sonic and Eggman. Both of them are pretty fitting of how they normally act, but everyone else just kind of exists as a cheap version of what they're supposed to be. Classic Sonic especially, because he just shows up, bops on a few dudes' heads, and that's all he does in this game. He has no reason to exist in this game other than to tie into Mania, which just detriments this game worse because it shows how Mania is just a vastly superior game to this, in both its simplistic plot and its better gameplay. And this cheapness definitely fits the villain of Forces, Infinite. You can tell by the first time he shows up that Sonic Team wanted to make the next Shadow. They wanted a cool, edgy villain that they could do cool things with in the future. But sadly, they give him such a lackluster introduction, I don't know what will happen to him. For a character called Infinite, they gave zero effort in defining this character. He shows up throughout the game taunting you and flaunting his power, but he's such a pushover in boss fights that he never feels like a real threat. And the backstory that they attempted to give him doesn't count. And the Shadow DLC they made for this game, they highlight Infinite's origin and there's just nothing there. Apparently he was a member of some mercenary squad hired by Eggman to take out Shadow, and Infinite says how he wiped them out, which, going back to the not understanding characters part, when did Shadow go back to killing people? I thought we were past this garbage, Sega. Look at this photograph! Shadow roundhouse kicks Infinite, calls him weak, and then at some point he gets the ruby and a mask and just becomes bad? Like, why? Why does he have such a vendetta against Sonic and friends? What was he like before we see him in this game? Why don't we know any more about his squad or who he was as a mercenary? I don't know, and we may never know. The writers couldn't be bothered to care, so neither should you. And lastly, the thing that I know pissed off a lot of people was how this game handled chaos. I know people lost their minds, me included, when the liquid villain from Sonic Adventure was announced to be in this game. He does nothing. He shows up twice in cutscenes, gets bopped on the head by Classic, and that's it. Why would you bait the fanbase by showing such a fan-favorite villain from a fan-favorite game and just not use him at all? No plot relevance, no boss fight, nothing? This game gave Zavok, of all people, more love than they did to Chaos, and that just baffles my mind. I don't know. At the end of the day, I've never played a Sonic game for the story anyway, but the story had the potential to be on par with the adventures are Unleashed, and what we got was on par with Sonic Boom, to be completely honest. Sonic Team, just please get new writers. The current guys you have now write messy, basic plots, and they clearly don't understand the characters that they're supposed to know like the back of their hand. Hire people who are knowledgeable and will do the characters justice. That's all I ask. We have had good Sonic stories. We've had great Sonic stories. So let's get some people who can make some new great ones that gamers can remember and cherish. Forces, at first glance, is not a bad-looking game. The black, red, glitchy UI is interesting, the visuals pop with color when they want to, and it stays at a beautiful 60 FPS with no drops. When you beat a level, and depending on how good you do in it, you unlock costumes you can put on your custom hero, which is a cute incentive. But like the story, that's where the compliments end for the graphics and design of this game. There are no original or unique level aesthetics in this game. Each of the worlds present is an old world with a new paint job. Oh, we did Green Hill 69 times already, let's throw sand on it. Oh, we've done Chemical Plant like 5 times already, let's put in a storm. Oh, we've done Crisis City, let's actually make a level this time and have it run at a decent frame rate. There's no originality in any of the visual design of Sonic Forces, and say what you will to Mania and the way it recycles old assets, but at the very least, they made new levels with different mechanics and pathways to change it up so you didn't feel like you were playing the same game twice. Anytime I go through a level in Forces, I always have the thought in the back of my mind of how Generations did this way better. And the engine, I feel, is one of the main reasons why. Sonic Forces runs on Hedgehog Engine 2, which is a custom engine that they made specifically for this game. And it's weird. Both Sonics and your custom character feel like they have weights on their feet compared to previous titles, and your jumps do less vertical distance than they did before. There are going to be a lot of times where you will die in 2D areas because you are not able to make jumps that you would have been able to do in previous titles if you're a veteran. And if you're a newbie, you're going to be spending a lot of time getting used to weird physics that feel opposed to the gameplay of 2D design. And the last main critical point that I feel hurts Sonic Forces the most are its short levels. This is some of the shortest and most linear game design I've seen in any Sonic game. Damn near all of the levels can be completed under 2 minutes on first try, and when combined with the unoriginal aesthetics, it leads to a feeling of running through a museum of art because you only have 10 minutes to see everything, rather than being able to stay until closing where you can take your time and appreciate all of the pieces. Sonic levels are at their best when either A, you have a massive linear path with a few breakpoints so that you can blast through to see a cool world, or B, you make a level that has multiple branching pathways that allows the player to go lightning fast, but also encourages replay value to see the full picture of the level. Which pisses me off because this game has one of my favorite levels in any 3D Sonic game. Level 26 is awesome. It's all linear with a bunch of pathways and it's all in 3D. But you can just run through it in a minute and a half with an S rank and have damn near no incentive to go back because it's so short. Once you beat a level in Sonic Forces, there's no real incentive to go back because you got the S rank, you got the costume shiz, so there's no reason. Boss fights especially, there's no reason. There are so few boss fights in the game already, and they even recycle them in this game and previous titles near the end of it. Like, why? The only challenging boss fight in this entire game is the final one, and even then it's only a slightly more harder version of the Colors fight. Technically, you could say it's the best Sonic final boss since then, but I still like Colors more because that final job felt like a finale. Meanwhile, this one feels like a carbon copy with a new paint job, which is a pretty good way to sum up the graphics and design of this game, honestly. It's a copy of the previous Boost Formula games with short levels, bad physics, unoriginal aesthetics, and uninspired boss fights. It has moments where it shines, but these moments are few and far between in a game that is too much incompetent level design to be worth remembering or revisiting. Even haters of Sonic have to agree that the one thing that has been consistently great about the games are the soundtracks and the music, and Forces is no exception for the most part. The three main themes, Fist Bump for the main game, the theme for Infinite, and the credits song Light of Hope are all fitting and equally great. Modern Sonic stages are filled with guitars and fast hard rock instrumentals that all befit the character nicely. Your custom character has these house/electronica beats combined with vocals, singing and elevating you on how you're going to save the day. They're cute and incredibly fitting. Classic Sonic... Oh boy, what have they done to you? Classic Sonic's music in this game sounds as if you took the Genesis sound chip and threw it into a microwave. It tries so hard to emulate the classic feel, but it sounds so bastardized that I honestly just turned off the music whenever I would play classic and just put on Mania soundtrack in the background. It makes Sonic 4's music sound good, and it pains me to say that. Sonic and the custom OC sound great, classic doesn't, and sadly for him, this opinion reigns pretty true for his gameplay as well. Let's start with Classic Sonic, since he's the weakest link of the three. Playing Classic, especially after Christian Whitehead and the lovely teams that worked on Sonic Mania were able to set the bar, really makes me reassess how sad it is that Sega forgot what made 2D Sonic great in the first place. There are no fun branching paths, there are no new elements to make the gameplay interesting, and the spin dash and drop dash are useless since they were nerfed to absolute garbage. Here's a spin dash in Sonic Forces, and here's a spin dash from Sonic Generations. See the difference? There's no sense of speed or momentum in Classic's gameplay compared to past titles, and that fused with the uninteresting short level design and visuals make Classic Sonic completely forgettable, uninteresting, and a waste of time. Modern Sonic is in a weird position in this game. He has some fantastic levels, some good ones, and some crap ones. My main point of criticism is the fact that Modern still has so many 2D sections in his levels. Custom and Classic already have 2D gameplay. This Sonic is the 3D one, so he should not have any 2D gameplay at all, and the fact that they just straight up ignored that feedback that the 2D and 3D gameplay should be separate just pisses me off, especially when the last level in this game is all 3D and it's clearly the best one. Modern Sonic at the end of the day though, is alright. He has some great highlights, he has some sad low points, but overall, good. But just good. The custom hero is the one part of this game that I think works extremely nicely. Shame that the custom doesn't get any more levels though. To see your persona of your choosing get to equip a blaster and wreck some Eggbots is fun and definitely really appealing. Blending 2D and 3D gameplay works for the character, but it doesn't fix the 2D levels or make them any better. They still suck. But the Wispins do add a nice cool thing for your character to do, and with the corresponding Wisp powers that you get in the game, they allow you to breeze and fly through the maps. My only real complaint with the custom OC as a whole is that the Fire Wispin that they give you right off the bat is the best one, and the base model could be used for a massive chunk of the game and you'll be fine. The other Wispins are great, and they all have their different uses depending on the scenario you're heading into, but they give you the best one off the bat, which is just a bit weird. But the custom OC is one of the few innovations that Sonic Forces does attempt to make, and it is genuinely one of the best parts of the game. Getting to team up with Sonic and beat up baddies is awesome, and definitely one of the best selling points of this game, and it genuinely is enjoyable to play with. Unfortunately, these moments are few and fleeting, and it's not enough to save this game. In conclusion, Sonic Forces is a mediocre game with some shining moments. It has its times where it really does some great things, but they are few and far between, and a short, uninspired game with no real innovation. So as far as ranking goes, since this is my first Awesomazing review with a rating, let me tell you how I rate games on my channel. S ranks go to the best of the best, something that I feel everyone should try and stuff that I can wholeheartedly recommend. A ranks are great games that have a few problems holding it back from truly being a top tier game. B ranks are games that have a lot of good and bad, but overall I can still recommend because they are still good games. Not great, not terrible, but good. C-rank games are either so bad they're good or meh titles. They're kind of in this flux situation where I either may like it just a bit because it does a few things right, or it's so bad it's good, or it's just mediocre. C-ranks aren't garbage. Those are F-ranks. F-ranks are anything that I suggest that is absolutely terrible and that you should avoid like the plague. So, with all of those ratings being said, Sonic Forces is getting a C rank. It's not garbage, but it also doesn't do anything really innovative or interesting to the point that I would recommend it. And it's not a good game. If you want a good 3D Sonic game, play Generations, Colors, or even Unleash if you want a proper boost formula Sonic game. And if you definitely want a good 2D Sonic game, please get Mania Plus. This game should have been the best boost formula Sonic game we've ever seen, and instead we got the worst one in my opinion. And after replaying this game for this review and looking at this screen knowing I've finished it, the only question I can ask to myself is just why? Why are there no original aesthetics in the visuals of this game? Why are the levels so short? Why is there no innovation of the boost formula? Why is the story so lackluster? Why was Infinite given zero character development? Why did Sonic Team throw chaos in this game if he was going to do nothing? Why did they even put Classic in this game if they weren't even going to try? Why did they not listen to the feedback that they got from Generations? Why did a game that took 4 years of development time end up like this? My answer to all of these is that Sonic Team has gone complacent. Both this and Lost World show that the current group of people that make Sonic games are absolutely content with making mediocre, boring, uninspired games and are too afraid to push the envelope in bold new directions. This is a far cry from the team that made the adventure games and the original Boost trilogy of the 3D Sonic titles. And I know some people are clamoring that Sonic Team should go back to the adventure formula and give it another shot. But right now, this current Sonic Team, I don't want them to make an adventure game. I don't want them to make a Sonic game, because they're not trying. There's no effort present. And until they get that spark back in them to make greatness again, or just hell, give the license to another team the same way that they did for Classic Sonic to Christian Whitehead and company, I don't think we're going to see a great 3D Sonic game for a while. I'm at the point right now where I think it would be a great thing if Nintendo ended up buying Sega. And that sucks. My next video of Awesomazing will be a follow-up to this, where I bring up some ideas that I think Sonic Team or another group that they hire could do with the adventure formula to bring it back into true form. But it needs to be done right, the first time. But I'm not without hope. Sega knows how precious the Sonic license is to them, and they don't want to collapse because if Sonic fails, then they fail. And I don't want that to happen. I'm excited for Team Sonic Racing, especially with the delays so that the game can be better, and Classic Sonic is in good hands with the Mania teams it has. But Modern Sonic needs a reboot, and I think a genuine heartfelt stab at the adventure formula once more could do that for the franchise. But I'll continue on that next time. No plugs at the end of this video. I'll have an update video coming soon explaining my plans for 2019 and beyond. All I can say for now is just thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, and everything in between. I appreciate all of you. This has been my strongest year ever on YouTube. I will hit 10,000 views this year, and I am just so grateful and blessed for all of the cool things that I'm going to be able to do in the future because of you guys and the inspiration you give me, and I couldn't be more blessed for every single one of you. I love you all. Have the happiest of holidays. Stay safe, and God bless.